So welcome back, everyone. Does everyone recognize this number over here? 7 plus minus 2. Put your hands up if you do not. Okay. This is a little bit of research back from the 90s, I believe it is now. Actually, it couldn't even be earlier. And it really talks about your, what we in terms of hypnosis can think of as your conscious attention, but is actually in traditional psychology called your short-term memory. That is how many items of information your mind can hold at a time. If I ask you to remember 5 items, then you can do a pretty easy job of that, right? If I ask you 7 items, most of you won't be too taxed. At 9 items, some of you will start, sweating a little bit. And when every item on top of that we get added to the list, there will be a significant increase in the levels of tension I would be evoking, right? So we're not going to go, past that magic 7 number, but I do want to play with that number 7 for a little bit. In a moment, we're going to do an exercise, which I think you'll have a lot of fun with. And to do that, we want to talk a little bit about hypnotic language. What I want you to do is something very simple. It's a concept called linguistic bridges. It's a very simple way of creating very smooth hypnotic language. And we want our language to be smooth because every time we create a disturbance in the ideas that we present or the chain of ideas that are presented, that disturbance alerts the conscious mind or a part of the conscious mind, which we will now call the critical factor for a while, to pay attention and analyze again, right? And that analysis, that judgment-making mechanism, can arrest the development of hypnosis or can inhibit the unconscious responses that you want to bring out if it's done in an inappropriate way. Does that make sense to you guys? So we want to be able to talk very smoothly, purely so that we have the option of not alerting them that we're doing something when we are. So that they think they're not doing something long enough to actually get some work done. As most of you will already know, these linguistic bridges and so on, we tend to call power words because they're just simple words that we can use to make hypnosis more powerful, very smooth. Each one in itself has a specific psychological reason for being there. We're not really worried about that right now because we're more interested in creating that flow. In time, we can start stretching some of the nuances out as to what kind of language you use, when and where, and so on. But you have good enough instincts to allow those to arise to begin with. Right now, we just want to have that general flow, and then we can shape that as we go along, right? The next thing we want to come up is something we call hypnotic themes, which is there are certain experiences that tend to correlate with something more hypnotic, shall we say. Whether or not it's trance yet, we don't necessarily need to make a judgment at this point, but there are definitely certain experiences that will augment whatever that is. Oh, don't worry about the mic. There's very little he has to do other than just sit there and enjoy. And you've done the first part right, sitting. I suspect the second part's about to come. So you may as well just close your eyes and focus inside. That's good. It's even better now. That's it. And really enjoy the experience. Because you have the capacity to enjoy many things. Which means you can enjoy comfort as much as relaxation. And that's it. And you can breathe. And know you're breathing. Every time you breathe, isn't there more comfort there? More relaxation. And because you've come all the way up to this stage to volunteer for something, I'd like your unconscious mind to memorize this experience of comfort thoroughly. Memorize it thoroughly so that you can use it to learn comfortably all aspects of hypnosis. Learn anything of importance to you. That's right. And there are changes that occur. And you can enjoy those changes. as much as you enjoy learning when you trust your unconscious. I don't know if you realized yet that all the time I've been talking to you, you have been learning something about who you are and how you function in an altered state, in a hypnotic state. And you're learning it without really knowing how. Although you do know that it's getting deeper and stronger, is it not? That's it. There you go. Which means your capacity to learn comfortably must be increasing too. And you know this. There's an experience you will have that will convince you of this thoroughly. Maybe it'll be a strong emotion, a pleasant one. Maybe it'll be a memory to remind you that you mastered something previously. Maybe it's some other signal that lets you know it's time for you to open your eyes and come back outside, but only with all those capacities to learn comfortably and quickly that you've started to develop now. So those eyes only open when you just know something's happened, whatever that is. It's got to be good. Rock and roll. How are you doing?
Good.
Nice. Very good pleasure. Give me a round of applause, folks.